total asset of card is about 80 billion. O mga 100 billion.
100 billion.
Oh, from 20 pesos.
From 20 pesos. Lahat ng nakikita nyo ngayon nanggaling dito. Okay, andito tayo sa San Pablo, Laguna at bagong series po tayo. Napakaganda ng ating topic at ang may-ari nito ay very successful doon sa kanyang mission na gawing umunlad ang buhay ng mga mahihirap. Morning. Kendo Caris.
Kayo po si Sir
Buddy. Apo. Doc. Buddy pa.
Yeah.
Finally, sir. Doc, is it possible na habang nag-uusap tayo nagtutur din tayo?
O, sige.
Para mas relax po. Kasama natin si Doc Aris Alin. At kayo po, sir, ang paano natin sabihin? Owner or? Founder ng Card Bank.
Actually, it's a group of company. It's Card Mutually Reinforcing Institution.
I see. It's not just the bank. Isa lang yun.
The bank is one of the flagship of the Card MRI Group. So, nagsimula ang Card 1986.
1986?
Oo. And it was just a very simple institution. It's a foundation.
Gusto mo bang matuto ng agribusiness, crops, livestock and poultry, aquaculture, at ma-inspire sa mga success stories? Agribusiness, how it works! As a YouTube channel, Agribusiness features entrepreneurs, farmers, organizations, OFWs, investors. However, beyond our usual content and official endorsements, Agribusiness does not engage in other business dealings with them. While our viewers and featured individuals and entities may choose to pursue business deals with each other on their own, we encourage them to be cautious in doing so.
Organized together with me, 14 practitioners. And some are still with me. Pa sila Dr. Torres, sila Dr. Lawrence, sila Flor Sarmiento, and iba nasa abroad na yung iba But 3 of my colleagues are still here working for us.
Doc Aris, interesting yung meaning ng CARD.
CARD is Center for Agriculture and Rural Development. Ang pinaka-focus namin is really helping the countryside, especially the landless rural workers. So, yun ang aming gustong tulungan. Kasi, I was working with PBSP. I don't know if you've heard of PBSP. Philippine Business for Social Progress.
Okay.
It was organized by top corporation of the country, 100 corporations, more or less. Ang ano nila is 1% of their net income before taxes is plowed back to PBSP as a corporate social responsibility. So that's where I started to cut my teeth in countryside development.
Oh, I see.
So, kasi nung bata pa ako, mahilig na akong sa mga development work because of the influence of my father.
Ano po yung father niyo, sir?
My father is an educator. At nung maliliit pa lang kami, mga kapatid ko, siyempre akong lalaki, unang lalaki doon sa family. So dinadala niya ako sa San Cristobal kasi meron siyang maliit na coconut plantation. So, yon. And every now and then, every weekend, nakikita ko yung mga relatives niya, mga workers, tenants, pumunta sa bahay at mihingi ng tulong, pangkain, pang tuition fee, at mga iba pang requirements, pang medicine. My father is a very generous person. So talagang nagbibigay siya. Kaya lang, marami balik ng balik eh. So sabi ko, mahirap ata ito. So there was even a time na dumating sila ng maaga. So, siyempre, mother ko nag-ahay. Minsan nauubusan kami. Hindi naman ano yun. Okay lang naman yun kasi we have plenty. Kaya lang, sabi ko, pagka ganito ang nangyayari, balik ng balik, parang yung tulong parang very palliative. So I was in search nung dala-dala ko yon nung magtatrabaho na ako. Actually graduate ako ng UP Agriculture sa Los Baños. So sabi ko kaysa ako yung magtrabaho I was working as an assistant sa IRI. Nagsimula ako student assistant.
Okay,
student
sir.
assistant when I was still a student. And sabi ko, maganda ito kasi International Research Institute. Kaya lang, ang kausap ko, mga palay. Tsaka, masyadong sabi ko, pagka ganito, parang masaya ako pero hindi maligaya. Kasi sabi ko, mas gusto kong sa tao. And then, I chanced on this Philippine Business for Social Progress. It's a business organized by the business, by the business sector.
Doc, nag-decide ka na somehow it's an advocacy para tulungan yung mga small or
landless
maliliit.
rural workers.
Landless.
Kasi ito yung nakikita kong assetless walang asset At nung nasa PBSP ako, hindi namin masyadong ginagalaw yun kasi nga ang tingin doon ng institution ay pang pang social welfare. So sabi ko, ang dami niyan. Kasi yung mga landless rural workers kasi nga yung orientation ko sa bukid, sa coconut. These are your magkakawit, maghahakot, magkakabayo, maglilikay. So, itong mga magtatrabaho, these are workers. Yung tenant, okay yan dahil may kapartihan
May kaparte siya doon sa landowner.
Tsaka under the agrarian reform pwede silang makakuha ng ng kanilang land also. So, ang wala ay yung mga landless. So, I said, ito yung kailangan tulungan. So, I bolted out of PBSP. I was working there for 10 years. I learned the philosophy of helping people help themselves. That was the turnaround for me. So, sabi ko, mag-organize ng foundation. Ito na yung card. So, in 1986, together with the other practitioners, we started the card. But my vision was different. To establish a bank that is owned and managed by the poor.
Wow.
At that time. It was a very crazy idea kasi nga, sino naman si Raulo magtatayo ng
ayaw nga nilang
bangko. Mahirap nga walang asset.
It's totally against doon sa kalakaran.
It's a very crazy idea. Malabo. Kasi nga, assetless. Anong equity ibibigay niyan? Tapos, marami dito hindi nakapag-aral dahil walang access sa education. So, paano makakapag-ano yan? But, I said to our group, yun na nga ang challenge Alam nating hindi naniniwala ang halos
institution.
Kaya magandang gawin. Kung tayo tumama, isn't that mas maganda. Kung tayo sumala, talaga expected na bumagsak.
Pero tumama naman, sir.
Tumama, but took years bago maano yan. Kasi nga, I'm very good in fundraising. That was part of my work in PBSP, fundraising and managing countrywide programs and projects sa mga landless agriculture. So you want us to walk around?
Yes, Doc. Okay.
So this is my simple office.
Family mo, Doc?
This is my family. Malawak na. You know, may history din yan. Nung nagsisimula ako ng card, I cannot send my children to good school
Oh.
Hindi ko maano. I'm a graduate of Ateneo di San Pablo. Pero hindi ko sila madala doon sa mga gagandang private school. Although the public school is good. Kaya lang, iba yung upbringing pagka yung ano. Kasi I devoted much of my time dito sa card. And yung inaano ko dito, part of my salary. Nahirap mag-fundraising eh. Part of my salary, pumupunta dito. And then, yung aking mga proposal is to establish a bank that is owned and managed by the poor. So, I got rejection after rejection. So, mahirap. No? So,
Gano'ng kadami rejection yun, Doc? Hindi na mabilang?
Figuratively, baka punuin tong kwartong ito sa dami ng rejection.
Wow.
Oh.
Sino nagbigay sa'yo ng break na finally may
I started this foundation with 20 pesos and a magic typewriter.
20 pesos?
20 pesos. I enlisted isa kong nephew, pinsan, si Boyet, who's now our managing director. Kasi wala namang ako papasweldo eh. So, pinabili ko ng typewriting paper. Tsaka yung, kasi nung una naman eh, walang mga computer eh. Tsaka, ang means of communication nun, mga postage, envelope. So, pinabili ko siya, tapos nagtatype siya, nagtatype kami ng proposal. That's where I get so many rejections. Until I said that maybe I should go to Japan. In Japan kasi, may naging kaibigan ako nung nasa PBSP ako. And ang Japanese culture, from my understanding, kailangan pumunta ka, magpakita ka.
Punta mo siya.
Tsaka makakakuha ka, bibigyan ka ng konti. So, I drafted the proposal. I went to Japan. Utang ko pa yung pamasahe sa tatay ko. And I only have about, I think, $16 or $18 at that time. So, dun sa dating ko doon, pupunta ako sa Tokyo, pinupuntahan ko yung mga funding agency. Tapos babalik ako sa airport, doon ako matutulog. Kasi nung una okay namang matulog eh. So, mura lang ang pamasahe. Wala akong perang pang hotel. Tapos, dun sa airline, kung medyo may edad na ako eh. Hindi ko lang, bata ka pa eh. Nung una, generous naman ang mga airline eh. Pwede kang kumuha ng kumot. Pwede kang, yung mga pagkain, pwede mong balutin. May mga toothbrush na nung una, may mga pang-shave. Kinukuha ko yun sa So, yung mga pagkain na kinakain ko. So, until a few days later, napansin nung kaibigan ko, hindi na ako nagpapalit ng damit. Siguro nangangamoy na ako. So, sabi niya, saan ka nag-stay? And I'm a very proud person. I don't want to lie. I also don't want to, yung magyabang. So, I said, I'm staying in the complex of Narita Airport. The old airport. Kasi ang airport nung una, merong kumpleto yun eh. May hotel doon, may restaurant, everything is there. So, yung complex, iba na siya mag-isip. Pero alam niya siguro na
wala.
Wala eh. So, sabi niya, so, ini-house niya ako. Yan niya ako ng hotel. And then, yung proposal na binigay ko sa kanya, sabi niya, this is a very crazy proposal, but we'll give it a try.
Wow.
After a month or 3 weeks, nakabalik na ako. Tumawag sa akin. Sabi sa akin, may problema tayo. Sabi ko, patay na. Disapprove na naman to. Sabi ko, anong problema? Ang ginawa kasi niya, pinadala niya sa 2 funding agency just to make sure na meron. Doon sa minamanage niyang foundation at saka yung isang kaibigan niya, pinadala niya. Ay, parehong naaprubahan.
Yun ang problema.
Sabi ko, walang problema. Kasi, yung proposal para sa San Pablo, sabi niya, hindi pwedeng San Pablo lang.
Okay.
So, that's why we started one in San Pablo at nagkameron ng bae.
Oh.
And I got, at that time, $20,000, stick to $10,000. So, yun, nagsimula. And then, tuloy-tuloy na yon. At meron time na kinukulang ako ng ano, so I have to borrow from my father. Buhay pa yung...
Buti na lang, supportive si
very supportive.
daddy niya.
And my mother also, kahit hindi masyadong nag-iimik. Sabi niya, sabi ko sa kanya, kulang ang aking ano eh. Pwede ko bang kunin yung aking inheritance?
Inuna na.
Sasanla ko muna. And he said, oh yan, sige. Pero nabayaran ko na. Kasi sa bangko... Pinahiram din
talaga yung parents niyo.
Walang, no question. So sabi niya, sabi ko, kasi pag napunta ako sa bangko, wala akong collateral. Hanggang doon lang ako sa ano eh. Minsan hanggang security guard lang ako eh.
Talaga, sir.
Ganun kahirap nung una. You have to have a collateral pag makautang. Pero finally, yun nga, kasanla, naibalik na. At from there on, dumami yung nagsusupport. So, and there was a time na NGO pa lang kami noon. And we are one of the replicators of the Grameen Bank. If you've heard of that. So, pero binago namin yon sa context ng Philippines. We also followed yung ASA. That's another very big MFI sa Bangladesh. So we got the
Bangladesh.
We got the best of all the best. And then, situated in the context of the Filipino culture and values.
Tama ba, Doc, yung parang I heard na in the early 90s, parang kinakopy yung Bangladesh model ng government na magpapautang sa mga mahihirap. Parang ganyan. Tapos parang ang collection nila parang daily, parang gano'n. Weekly. Yun din po ang model nyo, Doc?
Ganon. Weekly payment. Tapos yung amortization schedule mahaba. 6 months, 2 months, 1 year. Kaya very affordable eh. Tsaka maliliit lang yung ano, yung pinapautang. But over time, na-develop namin yung ano, mas paganda namin. So it's now a card. It's now recognized the whole world that it's a card MRI mo approach. Kasi we expanded from an NGO to become the first microfinance bank in the country.
Wow.
That was in
anong year na
1997.
97 na.
September 1, we got the license and we opened. And 1997. So, pero ito na. Nung nagsimula na yung banking operation, of course, we're regulated by BSP. Nakita ng pumunta ang ano, ang examiners and they are checking. Sabi nila, at kasama ko nun yung kasama ko nagsimula si Dr. Torres. Ang unang verdict we violated the number 1 rule in banking. Sabi ko, ano yun?
Ano yun?
70% of your loan should be fully collateralized. Kasi ang bangko, kailangan may collateral pagka nagpautang. Sabi namin, mahirap nga landless rural worker nga ano collateral ng mga yan? So, we said that, join us in the field and see. Nung nakita nila yung mga members, yung mga kababaihan, 100% ang repayment, tapos nagsisave. So, nakita nila, umuubra to. So, finally, they were convinced that this is something good for the country. Until such time na pumunta na yung mga monetary board members, even the deputy governors ng BSP and many officials. Tinignan na nila. And I believe this is also the contribution of CARD. It paved the way for a new regulation that if you are in microfinance banking, you don't need to have collateral. Kasi nga, mahirap And meron ding tumulong sa amin sa policy formulation, sila Dr. Llanto. And the governors were very open to the idea. Kaya, nag-expand ang CARD. Ito ngayon, nung nag-expand na kami, so from NGO, nagkameron ng CARD Bank, maraming namamatay na miyembro. Kasi pag namamatay yung membro, nung maliit pa kami, nagko-contribute lang kami ng 2 pesos, 5 pesos. At para pang bili ng kabaong, pambili ng So, sabi namin, dapat maging sustainable. So we started the microinsurance. Way back in 1986, card. After 10 years, 1997, card bank. And then 3 years later, we opened the first microinsurance company.
First then?
Oo. And this is, we challenge the existing, dun sa banking, we challenge the existing traditional banking paradigm, no? Where there is collateral, we have no collateral. Where we need our traditional concept of banking, you need kilos and kilos of documentation. We only need 1 page.
Ano yun, Doc?
This is just yung, kasi pagka nagpapautang ka, 3,000, 5,000, hindi ko naman hihinga ng feasibility study. So, kailangan mo lang doon anong project ang gagamitin mo? Anong gagamitin mo? Magkano yung kailangan mo? Tapos magkano ang kikitain mo? That's it. Tapos. Then release the loan.
Simple.
So, if it takes 1 month to 3 months or 6 months bago mag-release ang loan, within the day. So we challenge the conventional banking wisdom. Upside down. Ito naman sa insurance, it's member-owned. Sabi namin. Kasi we had a sad experience also in insurance kasi pinagpapa-insure din. Ang tagal magbayad. Minsan din na kami nababayaran kasi ang daming requirement. Sabi ko, itong gagawin natin, the Mutual Benefit Association. It's the first one of its kind. The first microinsurance company in the Philippines. Ang namin is, yung value proposition namin, yung claims payment. Within 1 day, if there's a claim, we'll be able to pay. If there are questions in 3 days, if there are additional requirements, in 5 days, we will decide whether to pay or not. So we're known as the 135 institution. So we completely challenge the traditional way of payment system. So ang daming nakaano doon. Kasi pag namatay yung membro, hindi mo naman kailangan ng maraming dokumento. Kailangan mo nga, isa nga lang death certificate. Tapos bayad ka. Kung weekend, kasi walang munisipyo, padala mo lang ng picture, patay. Yan. So, may mga tao naman kami sa field and nakikita nila na talagang patay. Bayaran mo kaagad.
Kasi kailangan niya.
Kasi sa akin, insurance is like savings On demand, sa savings, pag kailangan mong pera, makaka-withdraw ka. Dito rin sa insurance kasi it's a form of protection It's a savings also for you. Bayaran mo kaagad. So, maraming mga members ang natutuwa nun kasi never before. Tsaka sila may-ari. So, kaya yung premium namin napakababa with maximum benefit. Ngayon, with digitalization, digital na rin kami.
Dok Aris, habang tuloy lang natin.
Yung 135, hindi na 135.
Ano na ngayon, Dok?
824. Within 8
hours na.
Within 8 hours dapat bayad. And then in maximum 24 hours. These are our executives. Diba, marami kaming companies. We're now 29 companies.
Wow.
So these are the people that started with me.
Ikaw ba to, sir?
Mukhang bata Nadadaya. So, this is me. Ito yung mga kasama kong nagsimula, si Dr. Torres, Dr. Banyes, Dr. Sarmiento. Ito yung first stop namin, si Boyet.
Yung relative mo?
Who I paid 200 pesos per month.
Wow.
Pwede na akong makulong nung una. Violation of DOLE. Ay, wala na akong papasweldo So at that time, ang salary at that time acceptable was 750 pesos
per month.
Plus 50 pesos living allowance per month. I can only afford 200. So, sila naging doktor na kasi pagka yung magre-retire na sila, pinapag-aaral na namin sila para
so nung part sila na nung
bachelor
nag-start, bachelor
tapos
degree.
As we grow, I send them to Asian Institute of Management.
Wow. Bigatin.
I want to make sure that Kasi naniniwala ako sa education. But the best education. Hindi yung para makakuha lang ng degree. Oo. So it's not that for me. Kasi sabi ko, CARD is a growing institution. If we really need to grow, we have to invest. So I look at education as an investment. Kaya sa AIM namin sila pinapadala. Yung iba, nag-Harvard na rin. Para pero nung nag-retire na sila, after nung mayroon kaming school, CMDI College. So sila ngayon, pag nag-retire na, pumupunta kami doon sa college. So meron kaming, they become deans, faculty, tapos nagtuturo sa mga bata.
Isa sa business po yun, yung school.
CMDI, oo. After nung insurance, nagtayo kami ng itong school. Ang naging problema ko sa kaya kami nagtayo, ang nagiging problema ko, ang hirap mag-recruit ng mga
staff,
workers. Kasi nga, ang tingin nila sa microfinance nung una, it's a charity work. Sabi ko, hindi. It's a business proposition. It's a development proposition. Kaya, we need workers. Pumunta ako sa UP. Wala ako niyan. Kasi pang ibang klase yan. Pumunta ako na Ateneo. Wala rin. Pumunta ako ng Lasal. Wala din. Ibang school. Wala. So sabi ko, magtayo tayo sa sarili natin.
So college,
it's college.
Bachelor's degree yun.
Bachelor's degree. We started as a training institute, as a training center. It became a training institute. And then it's now a full-fledged college, registered by, regulated by CHED. So we have senior high school. We have also bachelor degree in management, major in microfinance, microinsurance. We have tourism, all focus on microfinance. Kasi yung tourism namin, iba rin eh. Hindi yung papa-abroad. Okay, pwedeng mag-abroad, pero from...
just to get,
Hindi, yung nakakonect kami sa iba't ibang development organizations sa Japan, tapos sa and then we give them an orientation what is the countryside all about. It's also a business for our clients kasi doon sila tumitira, doon sa mga nag-go homestay. Tapos yung mga indigenous food. Kasi yun naman ang gusto ng mga merong niche din ang ang tourism eh. Merong talagang high level. Merong mga professional at saka yung mga development oriented, mga estudyante gusto maka-experience what's the true meaning of development. So that's also another company that we have. It's called EOS Tours. So we have connections and linkages with Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia. I'm opening an office in Japan kasi galing ako recently doon.
Wow.
So magkakameron din ng exchange.
Ang nangyayari, Doc, pag may nakita ka na need ninyo, ginagawa mong bagong negosyo?
At galing sa mga members. So as I'm saying, ito yung mga nagsimula. So itong mga ito nasa nagtuturo, mga deans, heads ng iba't ibang program. Ito mga nag-retire na rin. Meron kaming he's handling associate din namin sa IT. Kasi 'di ba ang IT ngayon very in demand, napakamahal. So meron kaming IT company. Minsan nadi-disrupt pagka nagre-resign. So we started our own degree program for IT. So we have a steady flow of graduates na nag-aano sa amin. Also an associate din in management. Ito yung mga namin, mga executive na recently nag-retire si Elma. Ito yung CEO ng Card Bank, Executive Vice President. Tapos yung sa MBA Insurance. So ito yung this is our conference room. Actually, this is for every second Friday of the month. All our executive comes
nandito.
Nagbi-meeting. So talagang sila pinag-uusapan because different companies nga eh. So kailangan naka-align. The main vision of CARD now has been reimagined. It's poverty eradication. Yun ang aming mantra. we're doing this because of poverty. We want to eradicate, total eradication of poverty in the country.
Dok, ang question ko, di ba, I don't want to sound political, but yung government, di ba, tagal-tagal na may mga programs sila for poverty, ganyan.
May mga ano naman sa amin, kasi nako-complement din kami sa kanilang ginagawa.
Okay.
Because although CARD is a political, non-religious organization.
Okay.
Time and again, kinukonsult naman kami ng government. There, a number of the policies, a number of programs, we're always consulted with the Department of Agrarian Reform, DSWD, Department of Agriculture.
Sa inyo sila kumukuha ng information?
Nagko-contribute kami ng mga kasi nagtatanong sila how best we can do.
Okay.
At yung halimbawa, yung in the field of credit, Land Bank, no? We're one of the biggest borrower of the wholesale fund from Land Bank, and we retail this to the different, So, kumbaga, we're the last mile conduit from the government bank and the big commercial banks. Kami ang, parang pinaka conduit so that these poor people we can serve them. So coming to that I guess that's the reason why CARD has always been hindi siya yung every administration kinukonsult talaga kami kasi nga because of the work that we do. And we have a very good relationship with our regulators, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, the Insurance Commission, SEC. Very supportive naman sila.
Dok, gaano nakadami yung magbago ang buhay?
Ang CARD now has a total outreach of more than 9.5 million families all over the country. And we are insuring about 30 million lives in the country. This is about 28% of the entire population of the country. And this is the lowest and the poorest among the poor. Yung 9.5 million, if you're asking me kung ano naging changes, there was a recent, kasi ayoko namang maging bias, no? There was a very recent study from Cambridge University, a group of professors and social scientists na nagpunta rito. And they made a lot of research on our microfinance and microinsurance program for parang more than a year. Kasi pabalik-balik humihingi ng data. And maganda, it was out there na we are contributing doon sa SDG goal. In the field of poverty eradication, gender, health, food, even environment, and even yung family relationship na ayos namin. So, and then meron ding ginawa si Dr. Punong Bayat at yung bata na na economist, meron din siyang ginawa. So pinakikita talaga yung impact ng CARD sa income level and the smoothing of the cash flow of the client. So they don't have to go to the money lenders, na babawasan na yon. At ang isa pa dito, buddy, our business model is different. Our members are owners of our companies. CARD Bank is substantially owned by the members. Our insurance company is 100% owned by the members.
So, bali sir, parang corporation siya, hindi siya co-op. It's a corporation.
No, hindi co-op. Kasi yung co-op kasi, although it is a very good model, ang inaano ko kasi yung you have a very good governance at saka regulated ka like yung bangko. Regulated ka ng Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Wala kang kawala Every year, dadating yung mga examiners and then they will examine you. By the grace of God, okay naman kami. Pumapasa kami. Pagka nga kami hindi na-schedule sa examination, sabi na, examinan nyo kami. Kasi gusto namin Kasi this is membership owned eh. Maraming stakeholder. We want to make sure na talagang nakikita nila. Plus yung mga financial statement were audited by the number one audit company, SGB.
Doc, aside from good management ninyo, ang success ng grupo ninyo ay dahil run as a corporation, not a cooperative.
Run as a corporation with the principles of co-op.
With the principles of co-op.
Kasi
ang galing.
Kasi yung community based eh. But it has to be governed. I mean, governance should be corporate. Kasi may mga external board kami. Ang gagaling ng external board namin. To be honest with you, wala naman kaming naiintindihan sa banking. Wala naman kaming naiintindihan sa microinsurance. Wala kaming naiintindihan dyan sa school. But because of our external board, talagang magagaling. Kaya yung sa mga meetings namin, saka talagang balitaktakan ng mga opinion. Plus, because this is substantially owned by the members, may mga members na umuupo. So, pag umupo sila, so they make sure na ibang usapan yan. Kinakailangan talagang pag-usapan natin.
Yung talagang mga valid concerns na minsan taken for granted na lumalabas.
At may mga, yung board namin, may mga committee for membership relationship. Pumupunta talaga doon sa mga member. Nagtatanong, anong problema, anong mga issues. So, magandang feedback mechanism. And then we have a research group. Ang research namin, always conduct client satisfaction survey and staff satisfaction survey. Kasi we have to make sure that everything is aligned. So, yun ang
Doc, nung nag-start kayo ay ang talagang target beneficiary ay yung sinabi niyo kanina, landless. Landless
rural workers. So these are coconut, these are the sugar,
rice,
at yung iba't ibang plantation.
Dok, gaano kalaki yun yung segment na yun doon sa ating population?
Yung data namin, 70% of the entire population is relying on the countryside. Ngayon, nandiyan ng mga farmers. Pero yung data ng mga landless, I don't have the data now, pero nung nagsimula kami, ang dami nun eh. Mga 30 to 40%. Oo, ang laki nun.
Agribusiness merch is now available on Shopee and Lazada. Agribusiness, how it works. Instruct, inspire, succeed.